Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope my microphone's working okay. It wasn't working earlier, so hopefully it's working okay now. Let's do this here a little bit. Oh, wait, no, like that. There we go. I'm making some changes to the microphone. We'll talk about that in a second. Ready to see the blood moon tonight. Is that tonight? It's a little bit cold here, so I don't know if I'll go out and do anything in the wild. I don't know if I'll do that. Maybe I will. Is it tonight? I don't know. Maybe we'll go out and do that. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? Yeah, so I think I must have pissed everyone off tonight because there's a couple people that don't normally come on that just ghosted me. But we do have a regular here tonight, someone that is here usually, who has jumped into the stream with Darren is in the house. Good to see you, Darren. No, I had a couple of special guests. I'm not going to put them on blast because it's, you know how it is. I had a couple special guests. They wanted to come on. I got everything ready, and then they didn't show up. So, but it's not like it affects the quality. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of fun. But yeah, it sucks because they'd been asking me both of them have been asking me for several weeks now to come on. And so I set aside, I didn't want to invite too many people. You know how it gets chaotic and stuff. So that's kind of what I was thinking. However, I have adjusted my camera. It's in a different position now. So it's more like forward facing, and I might even change it a little bit more. Cause it was off to the side for so long. And I always feel like everybody's just kind of looking at my left side. So I'm like, I want to put it somewhere where it's a little bit, more like forward. So hopefully I've achieved that. But no, it wasn't Canada Grabs. I don't want to look. It's no one that you will not guess who it is. So I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. You'll not guess who it is because it's not someone one of them's never been on here, and the other one's only been on here like 2 times. So
I know who it is.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Grace Randolph.
Yes, absolutely. I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, absolutely." She said she could do it, but it would have to be like a very short thing, jump in and jump out kind of situation. Bo DeMayo, that's the other one. It was Grace Randolph and Bo DeMayo. Those were the two, and so I unfortunately was unable to make that happen. So
and maybe Ray Fisher as well,
maybe, but Ray's busy fighting with Warner Brothers, so he wasn't. I'm not sure if he can do it or not. Anyway, it's good to see everyone, though, tonight. Everybody's here. We look like we have a pretty good start for the stream. We got a bunch of people watching on both channels. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see. DDBA intro gives me Westworld vibes. What is DD? Wait, hold on. What is
Daredevil
DDBA?
Born Again.
Oh!
There we go.
I'm so bad with like abbreviations of things. Like I just don't get it.
Took me a second too.
Like,
I was like
so bad about it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think there is there's definitely a vibe there with that. Which by the way, I have to, since we have one already, we've got some options up there for tip goals, and I forgot to start it, so that's unfortunate. But we'll do a different one. We'll do a short one. We'll do 5 super chats we'll do 5 super chats at Teal. Since we just had one, I won't do the 10. I know everybody's kind of struggling for money right now, so I don't want to set it too high. Why is it doing this here? Hold on. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So $5 or Teal is $5 US, but it could be different where you are in the world. So let's do this. Check the poll. Check the poll. All right, there we go. Yeah, we'll keep it light tonight. Keep it nice and light. So I did talk to Paigey earlier, very, very, very briefly, but I don't know what's going on. I think they're still having issues with that storm that came through, like with their internet and their electricity and stuff. Because he sent me a really disturbing tweet, and then he just disappeared. Like,
I was okay.
Yeah, well, no, disturbing as in like weird, like not like something's wrong.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a video that's been trending today. I didn't see it, but of course he sent it to me, of a rapper in France where it like shows him rapping with his shirt off. Have you seen this one?
No, but
it shows it rapping with his shirt off, and then when it backs away, he's in his underwear. So it's just one of those silly viral things.
Sounds like Pagey. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I told him I was going to report him for it, but then he never responded. So I'm guessing he's busy doing something else. Anyway, hold on. So you have a few interesting topics tonight. I do want to talk about Invincible and Daredevil, so we're probably going to do that first just to get it out of the way. I did a Daredevil review earlier today that went up early today, like mid-afternoon, I think. And I'm going to try and do those every week. So if you guys want to hear my first thoughts on it, those will be the videos that go up. And then, of course, we'll talk about it in more detail on the live streams. But Invincible, have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. What an episode. So you have to talk about that. Your super chat didn't get counted towards the goal? It didn't? I don't know why. I'm sorry, Defunct. Yeah, I don't understand. It says teal. So when you guys do the super chats, just move the bar to where teal is. I think sometimes it's weird. It's like $4.99 for some people and then $5 for some people. I don't know what it is. You know, it depends on where you are in the world. So I don't know. Sorry, not totally sure. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Invincible first or Daredevil first? Which one would you rather talk about?
I was just on a stream talking about Invincible, so how about some Daredevil to get us started?
Okay. All right. So, but thank you, Defunct. We're going to pull your super chat up before we start. Today, I've made another trip around the sun, as you did recently. Huzzah to us. We're still here. Here's a super chat to celebrate. So, happy birthday, Defunct.
Happy birthday.
I've noticed a lot of people that come into my stream here have birthdays close to mine, which I think is pretty cool.
That's cool.
So, but wish a happy birthday to Defunct, everybody in the chat. Make sure you do it. Shout her out. Shout them out. I always forget to not assume people's genders. I should be more mindful of that. Is Paigey ditching me? No. Okay. I don't want to tell Paigey's personal information. So all I'm going to say is I'm assuming that what's going on has to do with the storm that came through. Because there's other things that I can't talk about. So we'll leave it at that. But I know that's going to start conspiracy theories. I understand. You guys can talk about it all you want in the chat. That's fine. Whatever you want to talk about. But I'm not gonna give out more information than that. So I know you were joking, but I know some people probably wonder because I remember a couple of years ago when he kind of vanished on everybody. They get like PTSD from that. So it is what it is. All right. So with that being said, Daredevil Born Again, episode 3. Which, spoilers in the chat, guys, if you haven't seen it yet. It's been a couple days, so I feel like everyone probably watched it by now. This was the White Tiger episode, the one that kind of focused on that character. And I was excited because I was ready to learn more about White Tiger. I wanted to see how they were going to handle the situation with him because we didn't have a lot, I don't think we knew a lot going into the season of what they were going to do with that character.
Yeah.
And I think specifically the story around White Tiger was extremely well done in the episode. I think it was a really solid storyline, like getting to know the character, understanding his core values. Like the scene where he's on the stand and they've revealed that he's White Tiger. And Matt is like kind of questioning him on his reasons for why he's doing stuff. And he's like, it's the right thing to do. And he just kept saying it. Like, you understood in that moment. Such a good, R.I.P. But such a good portrayal of, like, honestly, I could have seen that character go on for a much longer time. I just felt like he was such a solid character. He was filling in when Daredevil wasn't being Daredevil as White Tiger. Overall, very, very well done. I saw a lot of people saying, people that are part of that community saying that they thought that his representation was very well done, things like that. So what are your thoughts on White Tiger in general?
No, I thought he played a perfect role in the show. Like, they needed a Carolo to parallel Matt's situation and his journey as Daredevil, and he's a character that parallels Matt's very well. Like, there's that fantastic scene where it's like, you don't understand. Oh, you can't understand Paigey because he's here. Hello, Paigey.
Maybe he's not.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh, well, no, I just didn't want to talk. You were talking. I didn't want to be rude.
Sorry. What was I saying? No, like there's
parallels between
there's that fantastic scene where it's like you don't understand. Like I need this. Like I need to be Daredevil, and there that's such a good parallel to season 3 where it's like I am only Daredevil. That's who I am, and blah blah blah. So like I think he played the perfect role. Like I'm sad that what happened to him ultimately happened, but I'm wondering. That's a mantle role, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but I'm wondering how they pass that mantle and when they do that.
Yeah. Look, how's your internet, Pagey? Is it back to normal?
It's still fucked. I'm still running off the mobile.
What?
So I only no, it's not. Yeah, it's cooked, but I'll only stay for like 25-30 minutes or something.
Okay,
just to
all right.
Have a chat.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Daredevil at all? Have you been watching it?
Yeah, I watched it. Yesterday?
The most recent episode, number 3.
Yeah, so I'm caught up. Yeah.
Okay, because that's what we're talking about. Basically, you just came in right when we're talking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the latest Peppa Pig. I haven't seen that. So
I was going to, but I felt like we should save that to the end of the stream. So we'll talk about Peppa Pig.
Didn't the mum get caught in bed with another pig or something?
Yeah. I feel like it was a spit roast, right? Right?
No, I didn't. No, that's. I think that might have been that weird fanfic website you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's the one that you sent me on Twitter. So I was like, wait a second.
No, I just sent you French rappers in underwear. That's all.
Well, yeah, we talked about that a second ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
it's a good video.
Talked about that. So, is it really? Is it a good video?
It gave me Bo DeMayo vibes, to be completely
Well,
honest.
you've covered everything. Like you jumped in and you've covered everything we've mentioned on the stream so far.
What were you shit talking?
I said that I had a special guest in the chat. Thought it was Bo DeMayo. So that was
really
another one there. So, yeah. So
why do people go to Bo DeMayo? Was that because of the French rapper with the underpants? Or was that...
No, that was not even mentioned till that. That was after we had talked about it. So
okay. It's like the Illuminati, everything connects or something.
But White Tiger, what did you think of? Okay, so let's go ahead and just spoil the end because I feel like we have to talk about this. So White Tiger gets shot at the end of the episode. I have my opinions on like that whole moment. It's one of the things that I don't want to say ruined the episode for me, but it was one of the things that I'm very critical of. But outside of that, what did you think of the portrayal of White Tiger? In the episode, did you like it? Did you not like it?
I thought it was fine. Like I think the actor and stuff was good and stuff like that. I think the actual episode itself was good. I sort of agree with you with like the ending. I'm like, is that fitting as well? Because like I don't know if I'm right with this, but from everything I can piece together online, the only reason he dies is because the actor died.
Really?
Like that wasn't the original intention or something like that, and they might have reused the footage or something like that.
No, well, you know what I heard? I heard that the footage with him walking down the street and putting the mask on and running away through the neighborhood or whatever, that was kind of how it ended. It just showed him like going back out to be White Tiger, but they had a stunt person in the suit with him getting shot so that they could like move that story along. Since the actor's no longer with us. That's what I read on.
Yeah, so he wasn't meant to die, but then they changed it. But also that was like he died before they changed the show.
Right.
As well, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. And you can sort of tell that it's like it seems like they are repiecing together some stuff. Like I don't think they clearly didn't refilm the entire show, but like the action stuff is where they're
it's very interesting to me in this episode where the majority of this one felt like it was what it was originally going to be, right?
They said episodes 2 and 3 were the first 2 original episodes of the original show. So I think everything these last 2 outside of the Vanessa stuff maybe and a couple maybe other things are the same, which is interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that obviously another thing that I mentioned in my review was that there was something missing. Like I can see in this episode why they had to make the drastic changes they had to make to the show. And it's not because it was a bad episode. It was filmed fine. I think obviously Charlie did a great job. I think all the supporting cast did a great job. It's just something was missing for me. I don't know what it was. And it wasn't like him in the suit, even though I think that is a big part of it. It didn't, I don't know, something about it didn't vibe, and I can't really put my finger on it. And I thought about it today because after I filmed my review last night, I was like, well, let me try and figure out what it is that I didn't gel with in the episode. And I think it was just missing like a spark. Like it was for me, there was just something missing. And I went around and read reviews around it, and it seems like it's up and down with people. Some people thought it was really good. I saw some comments on my review that were like it was a 9 out of 10 for them, and that's fine. But for me, it was just like an okay episode. I put it somewhere in the middle for me. I don't think long term doing the show like Law and Order would have worked if this is what they had
No,
done
it
on
felt
the show.
this episode felt a bit like, though it was good. Like I think it was well done in regards to what they were trying to do. It just felt a bit stagnant. Like we were just sort of like, and I mean, if they condensed down a lot of the stuff that maybe, like if this went on for another episode or something, or if we got 2 courtroom episodes in a row, then you'd be like, hold on, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I think with how it's pacing at the moment, I just sort of want to wait until it's done.
Yeah.
To see how, which, I mean, a TV thing, like a TV shows, you should sort of be able to get week by week, you know. But and you're like, okay, I'm along with the ride and everything, but it just feels like I just want to see what they're planning. Just because
doesn't it feel? This feels like a product of like the original thing they were trying to do with like the new format. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a fully formed.
Well,
thing,
and
I guess.
yeah, and I just do wonder if like season 1's going to be a bit messy across the board, because they were clearly, like when they said they were like starting from the ground up, I was like, bullshit, because you just spent a bunch of money. Like you're just not going to throw that money away and all that footage. You know, like that was never going to happen. But
I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job blending it together. I don't have any complaints about that.
It's only like slightly noticeable that like things are being, and it was really probably this 3rd episode where it was, and maybe because episode 1 feels much different than episode 2 and 3.
Yes,
like episode
100%.
1 feels like a different.
So I think
feel.
1 is what it's going to end up being. Like it's going to be like that, but 2 and 3 are
whether
stuck
that is
in what they were. So
whether that is by the end of the season or at least heading into season 2. So
I think season I think
one
season
was.
2 is going to feel like what the show is going to be.
Yes.
Like I think that's what we're seeing. But look, I'm not saying it's bad. I think there was some good stuff. There's also the corrupt cop storyline with like the whole Punisher situation, and that's why I titled this like, you know, in the title of the video was it wasn't who they thought it was, basically, or it wasn't him. Is a lot of people thought it was Punisher that killed White Tiger. I think it's a corrupt cop just wearing the Punisher gear.
Yeah,
right?
that's why
I mean,
they just would have shown that it was. They would have shown Frank Castle. They wouldn't have just shown the emblem. So it's, yeah, I'd be very, very surprised that actually is Punisher doing it.
So yeah, I felt like this was leading. This is just adding more layers to that Punisher arc that they're doing, you know, in the season. So when people were saying that it's like, oh, I can't believe, you know, Fisk hired Punisher to kill White Tiger. And I'm like, I don't think that he did. I think the corrupt cops did it with, and this is why Punisher is going to get mad, you guys. Think about it. Like, could you imagine somebody going around dressed as Spider-Man just yeeting people? Like, that would be, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of what Frank Castle is going to be dealing with, is the fact that these people are doing that. And I do think this is going to lead into that Punisher, like, special that we're going to get. Like, the extended episode of Punisher. Which I think will be exciting. So I like that part of it. I'm still not totally sold on the supporting cast, the vibe between them and Matt. It just isn't right. It isn't quite there yet for me. I think they're doing good, but I just don't feel the same stuff with like Karen and Foggy. It's a little bit disjointed there, right?
Yeah, like that's been my, I think, not criticism, but like that's been my one holdout so far on the show, because I'm loving it so far, is like I don't feel the vibe yet, but I'm excited to get there, because we are going to now, by the end of this run, at least have 17 episodes with this cast. So I'm wondering, by the time the end of the season, by the season 2, we know that they're going to be coming back for the season. How we're going to connect with it is going to be fun.
So Tony here says, do you guys think White Tiger was killed off because Disney doesn't want to recast? No, I think okay, so this is my theory. I think they always wanted White Tiger to have more screen time than what we got in this episode, but I think it was always going to be a transition of him to the next iteration of White Tiger. I think that was always going to be the plan. And, you know, it's unfortunate that things went down the way they did for not only the show, but then, you know, losing, you know, the family losing someone who was about to like have a huge career take off because of this. It's really unfortunate, but I don't think it was ever a situation of recasting. I think because honestly, the most well-known White Tiger is the version that we have currently, even though this character is from like the 70s and 80s. But yeah,
I will say, like, I do think he was, even if it wasn't here, I think that character was probably always going to die, right? Because I think this is going to ultimately be, even if it doesn't happen immediately, the push to Matt becoming Daredevil again, right? Because the whole reason he became White Tiger was because Daredevil was no longer around.
So he was out doing what Daredevil would have been doing, essentially.
Yes.
So the thing is, though, I want to say, the way he was killed bugged me a little bit because it made me question how competent he was as a hero to begin with.
Sure.
And look, I get it. This is supposed to be reality. These are street level superheroes and things can happen and there's consequences for doing things. I get that. But this is a guy who was getting powers from an amulet that was supposed to make him like a super soldier. And all he has to do is have a guy jump out from the shadows and shoot him. And that's it. Like, I get it. Matt has armor. So like, that's why he can take hits and stuff like that. He's got this weird armor that he wears, you know? But White Tiger's out there in like basically a hoodie and a luchador mask, you know what I mean? And I mean, it feels like he just didn't think about that. Like, he's never encountered a situation where somebody tried to stab him or something like that. Like, I just feel, I don't know, there's something weird about it to me that didn't sit right with me. It's fine in the premise of storytelling, but it does make me question the competence of him as a hero. That's all, you know?
It's hard for me to like critique it because like, I don't know anything about the character really outside of what they told us. Like, I don't know like what the costume's made of, where he got the costume, what, like in the context of the show, what are his powers, what he's capable of. So I can't be like, oh, he should have dodged that, because it's like, I don't know, maybe he sucks. Like, we've never actually seen him in the suit with his powers fighting, which I think may have been the point, right? Like, I think we're supposed to be watching this from Matt's perspective, from a lawyer's perspective, not always knowing all the background of these characters. Just like, okay, I'm meeting you now, I am defending you, here are the facts, here's what I have to go on. But I do wish we could have seen him fight in that.
I will be honest, though, once he was let off on the case and he got away with, like, nobody was able to frame him, I was like, the cops are going to get him as soon as he gets out of here. Like, I knew that right away. I was like, you're not going to be able to just walk down the street as White Tiger, like, after this. Because even though the cops know that what they were doing was fucked up, they're still going to target you, you know? So...
Yeah, if I was him, I would have, like, changed aliases. You know, like, I would have... changed hero name.
He could have been Black Panther, right? Just use a black version of the suit. So Paigey, you have not watched Invincible, so we're going to save that subject till after Paigey has to dip out. So what I want to talk about, tell me what you guys want to talk about. I got two things in tabs over here. The Snow White controversy about them scaling back on all of the promotional stuff, or Anthony Mackie's video clip where he talks about the erasure of men. Which one should we talk about?
I know what's the most edgy / woke combo.
I mean, they're both kind of edgy. I mean, it's like, if we're talking about Snow White, it's the Rachel Zegler stuff, and Anthony Mackie is, what he says has been like gone over several times now. So Mackie, chat, what should we do? Mackie or Snow White? You guys tell us, because it'll probably be the last thing Paige can talk about before he has to go. So, while we do that, let's do some super chats. Let's see here. Naruto says, on Monday I was asked about recasting White Tiger. The next day they killed him. I know. I honestly, I had no idea it was going to happen so soon. I thought we might get him a little bit longer in the season. So when this happened, I was a little bit like, okay, got it. Thank you for the super chat. Neon Zephyr here with the $5 super chat says, happy birthday, Defunct, and belated birthday to you, Eric. My birthday is on Saturday. I guess Eric streams attract March birthdays. Well, you know, it's that Pisces energy, I guess, is what it is. Does anybody, like, okay, so Paigey and Darren, do either of you, like, follow or believe in astrology? You believe any of that stuff or no?
Nah, my older sister does.
Really?
Yeah, and a girl I know does it as well. Like, yeah, it's like checking astrology signs and what it means and whether it is daily or just as a whole.
I used to do it when I was younger. Like you check the local paper or something and go online and see what they're saying about it online. So we're getting a mixed bag here. So Paigey, what would you rather talk about? Anthony Mackie or Snow White? Which one?
Let's go Snow White. Okay. Snow White for 100.
All right. Here we go. All right. So
did you get a Hogwarts line off? Don't they do that at Hogwarts Astrology?
Do they?
I think so.
Maybe. So this is, all those channels that are like obsessed with Snow White. I'm pretty sure that this is like feeding time for them. You know what I mean? Like this is like throwing the chum out in the water to attract the sharks with this kind of story. So it says Disney scales back Snow White Hollywood premiere amid Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot controversies. So we know what the controversies with Gal is. It's the same ones that she's been dealing with since she was cast as Wonder Woman, which is her connection to the Israeli military. So I don't really have to rehash that. We understand what that is. And it's either something you care about enough not to support her movies or you don't think about when you're watching movies. You have to make your own decision on that. Okay. But the Rachel Zegler controversies is literally her getting attacked by people. You know what I mean? Like she hasn't done anything. She was on the red carpet and she talked about how she wanted to do a modern version of Snow White because, she didn't think the older version spoke to like where we are now. It's 100-year-old movie. And she started getting attacked for it.
Well, didn't she also, I don't know what it was specifically, but didn't she say like that anyone that voted for Trump should get like killed or something?
That was on Instagram or something like that.
Oh, it was on something.
Yeah, but that's not unique to her. Like there were a lot of people saying those kinds of things when that happened. So it's not like she was the one lone person out there saying like anti-Trump stuff. There was a lot of celebrities saying that. But even if that's the case, I mean, the people that say they love Trump, they don't want to be canceled for that. So why would they cancel her for saying that she doesn't like Trump? You know what I mean? Like it was a weird thing. Anyway, let's read what they have to say here in the article briefly, because usually it's the very first couple of paragraphs that go over it. So Disney is hosting a Hollywood premiere of Snow White on March 15th, but the studio won't be rolling around a robust red carpet like it usually does. The afternoon festivities will include a pre-party and screening at the El Capitan Theater with titular star Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, expected to attend. However, the red carpet will not include dozens of media outlets usually invited by Disney to interview the cast and creatives at its premieres. So that's the first thing. Look, I want to say this.
You know what this reminds me of?
What was that?
A movie that came out about 2 years ago that had pretty much the exact same thing for the most part.
Which one?
You could take photos, but there's no interviews.
Was it the Flash movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone remember that? I think they ended up allowing some interviewers, but it was like one or two or something. Like it might be like Variety or something.
Well, it says here, Paigey, instead coverage will be limited to photographers and a house crew, which is exactly what they did with the Flash movie.
Yeah. I think with the Flash, they eventually allowed maybe one or two of the big ones, but that would have been all greenlit questions. Like you can't ask this, you can't ask that. Because I feel like there were some things done there, but I might be wrong.
It says the studio did not comment for this story, but scaled back plans come amid controversy surrounding the Mark Webb directed film, which is theaters on March 21st. Here we go. This is what they say the controversies are. Some toxic Disney fans question Snow White being played by Zegler when her casting was announced because she's a Latina actor. The West Side Story, star also faced backlash when she called out the 1937 original dated because the prince literally stalked Snow White. I mean, it is weird.
Is there a prince in this?
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue. But because here's the thing. It's not a movie for me. It's not my demographic. Like that's what's so weird about it. Like it's a kid's movie, right?
Yeah,
it's a family movie.
You're just waiting for the Seven Dwarves movie, and then it's all
right.
about,
Yeah,
then you're
the one by Blumhouse, like the one by Blumhouse, the horror movie.
Blumhouse? You mean Blumhouse? Who calls it Blum? Eric, we got to get your pronunciations in check here.
That's the American pronunciation. That's the American pronunciation.
Isn't that a fucking sounds like a pharmaceutical company or something like that?
It could be. I mean, it could be. It could be both. It could be a movie studio and a pharmaceutical company. Yeah. But look, the original Snow White is weird. Like, it's weird. Like, the age difference is weird. There's a lot of things that are really sus about the first Snow White. Like
You know, we could actually do a riff on this, and you would be Snow White.
Oh, really?
And Warstu would be the prince. Because remember when like Warstu like stalked you on PlayStation?
Yeah, that was funny.
It wouldn't stop ringing you. You're trying to play a game. It's like a call from Warstu.
Honestly, we actually had conversations. There were times where he would call and I would sit there and talk with him, and he would like be talking about how people are trying to come after him on YouTube and stuff like that. It's so funny. Anyway, so look, I figured out here. It says so these are the 5 biggest controversies around the original Snow White movie. It says one of the biggest, the true love kiss scene, which by the way doesn't happen in the original story, right? Like the original story that Disney took this from, the scene doesn't play out like this. It's actually kind of gross the way it plays out, if I remember correctly. One of the biggest points of criticism in modern times is the moment when Prince Charming kisses Snow White while she's unconscious. Some argue the scene romanticized non-consensual actions, as Snow White is unable to give permission for the kiss. Now, you can argue that you don't care about that, but it is a non-consensual kiss. But, I mean, right? You could, like, people can say, okay, it's fine with me or it's not fine with me. But I don't think that's controversial, just stating the facts that it's a non-consensual kiss. Oh, look who's arrived. So he's here because Pagey's here. Because when Pagey's not here, he doesn't show up. He always jumps in when Pagey's here.
Is that a Chick-fil-A show?
No, it's a...
Oh.
I don't know.
No.
That's definitely not Chick-fil-A. What are you talking about?
What does it say? No.
No, it's got a little...
No, it says no.
That looks like a Joker thing.
Does it say no, though?
No, I don't know what it is.
But does it say no?
No. That's like an X.
It's an XO. It's like an XO.
XO.
Yeah, Zo.
You need to learn how to speak in English, Pagey, is what you need to do. So
okay, Bloomhouse.
But so that was the first one is the kiss. The other one is the gender stereotypes, which is like the portrayal of Snow White as the quintessential passive princess whose main skills involve cleaning, cooking, and waiting for a prince to save her, has been criticized for reinforcing outdated gender roles. That was from the original cartoon, the original movie. The other one is the dwarves immediately expect Snow White to take on domestic duties in exchange for shelter, as some see as reinforcement of traditional expectations of women, which is, again, it happens in the movie. You can either be okay with it or not okay with it. It's just something that happens in the movie, right? So that's why none of that has anything to do with Rachel Zegler. It's not like she created something that isn't actually happening. She's just saying these are things that happen in the movie. The other one is, this is the Peter Dinklage stuff right here. Over the years, there's been a debate on whether the description of the dwarves plays into stereotypes or could be seen as offensive to people with dwarfism, while many simply view the fairy tale characters. Others argue their portrayal could be problematic. Do you remember like the whole drama around this, where the pictures came out that it was like crew members were taking the place of the dwarves because they didn't have actual little people on set to play the dwarves, so now they've CGI'd them instead. Do you guys remember those photos when they came out?
Yeah, weren't those fake?
Yeah.
Well, the photos were real, but that wasn't the people that were really playing the dwarves. They were like standing in.
No, the photo that came out, apparently they're characters in the movie, but they're not meant to be villains.
Gotcha.
They're meant to be like some other group that's just chilling. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the thing about it is Peter Dinklage said that stuff, which cost people a bunch of jobs, and he's still working and making his paycheck, but he cut off a revenue stream for other actors that didn't necessarily need him speaking.
And now it's like, because I saw like, didn't like they name some of the people who are voicing some of the dwarves?
Yeah.
And they're not dwarves?
They're not. No, they're not little people at all. So
I can't remember. I remember I saw one, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. So the other one here is dark and frightening elements. Now, this is more about the original story, though. But it says, for a children's movie, Snow White contains some intense and scary moments, such as the Queen's transformation into the hag and then her eventual death. Some parents have found these scenes to be too frightening for young viewers. I will say this, Disney used to not give a shit about that stuff back in the day. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Fantasia was actually pretty scary.
I was literally about to bring up, imagine if they did Fantasia.
Yeah, Fantasia was pretty, and I'm not talking about the singer from American Idol, I'm talking about the movie.
Yeah,
I love the singer from American Idol.
Oh,
that's
dude?
a fucking trip. Yeah. That movie is cool.
Fantasia. If you're on mushrooms or something, it's crazy. Not that I've ever done that, but I'm just saying.
No, if you just go in unwillingly, not knowing what you're about to watch, then it's still.
Yeah, there was the mountain. He came out of the top of a mountain in that movie. So,
I mean, Lion King ends with Scar getting eaten to death, right? Like.
And there's a big death in that movie that will scar you as a child as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
Mufasa,
like bugs being eaten, and
which, by the way, Mufasa apparently is almost at 800 million at the box office.
Good. That means we're getting the Lion King 2. Simba's pride.
You know
again.
why? You know why it's almost 800 million?
Why?
Because of DEI.
I don't know. Was it controversial to make lions voiced by black actors? I don't know. Are there any white actors voicing the lion?
Oh, I don't know.
No, it was all black people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have got.
Hold on. I never even thought about that. What? I never even thought about that. That all the voice actors were black people.
Yeah.
In Lion King or Mufasa.
Yeah, but it's not a complete.
Wait, was it like that in Lion King as well, or just Mufasa?
No, both.
No, because what Donald Glover was.
Donald Glover, Beyonce, James Earl Jones. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Black
the last controversy is Snow White is portrayed as very young. They said that in that original movie she was supposed to be 14, while the prince is supposed to be in his 20s. Which is that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So
that's a thing where every like 40s, 50s like Disney movie, like look back at Sleeping Beauty, the prince is meeting Aurora when she's first born and being like, I'm gonna be your husband someday, and it's like
right.
Oh,
yeah. So the point I'm making here is none of those things that she was talking about that they were changing in the new movie was made up things. Like she was just stating that these were issues with that movie that needed to be changed in the movie they were making. That's what she was addressing. Now you can disagree with her. Some of it's kind of sus. Like if you disagree about the age gap stuff, that's a little sus, but you can disagree.
Eric, you have to realize people want their pedophilic prince.
Oh my God. Let's not even put that in the world. I don't even want to put that out there.
I mean, man, it's a movie.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to co-sign to any of that shit. So
well, it's saying you are.
No, but you're bringing it up like people think it's okay. It's not. It's
definitely you're trying to make it out as if you co-sign that dude in the underwear when it's just no.
I do co-sign that though. French rappers in their underwear, I do co-sign that. But those are adults. You're talking about a different thing.
What?
I'll send you the video, Lance. You can.
Yeah, you have to see it. We're not going to play it on here.
Okay, cool. Because that's too rated R for young Darren. So
it's not actually that bad. It's just YouTube would definitely come after it or whatever. Anyway, I know a lot of people are saying that that this says that Disney doesn't have faith in it or whatever. I would go even a step further. And I know this is going to be highly controversial. People are going to disagree with me. It's fine. I don't give a fuck. But I think they should stop giving, especially with these kinds of movies, early press viewings, 2 or 3 weeks out from the movie, and then allowing them to put scores up on Rotten Tomatoes 2 days before the movie comes out. I think that's a mistake. I think we need to get away from that. Only because Rotten Tomatoes is an unreliable source for scoring. It's so unreliable, and people put far too much value in it. I think they should go see the movies the same time as everybody else, and then put your scores up the same time as everybody else. That's what I think, personally.
I think this movie will do better than what people think. 100%. I don't think it's. Yeah, I just think it's. Also, there's nothing coming out as well.
I actually think a lot of the grown men underestimate how popular this is going to be with young kids. I think that's the problem. It's kind of sus that they think they know what young kids want anyway. That's a little weird.
The only issue is I wonder if there'll be any songs that people care about. What was a song? I just remember her fucking whistling. That's all I remember.
Brother.
Yeah.
He's my brother.
Oh yeah, that goddamn.
What's the way you want?
I do have a question though. I have a question. since Snow White is sleep for like 95% of this movie, I'm assuming this is not gonna be a shot for shot remake.
I don't think it's gonna be.
No.
I think it's gonna be very different from the.
No,
original.
they're
I
like
think I think she gets like woke activation, and that's like the opposite of the sleeping thing. So it's like, because
But that's why
doesn't she lead like an uprising or something? Isn't that the point of it? So
which is why I'm excited for this one, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
And
why
then
like,
another thing is,
and what does the
I
apple
know
do?
people were making jokes about her wearing like the white outfit, saying she looks like Lord Farquaad. And it's just clear to me that majority of these idiots haven't seen the original Snow White because she wears
Of course they
white
haven't.
dress.
Yeah, of
in
course
the
they haven't
movie.
seen it.
So you wouldn't be making those jokes if you saw the original Snow
But that's
White.
been my complaint the whole time. Is the vast majority of these people complaining about it don't care about Snow White. So
They
why
don't
are they
give a
even
fuck.
complaining about it?
yeah,
Right.
no.
So Snow White is one of the, like, if you're ranking popular to least popular queens or princesses, she's always at the bottom of the list. She's been like that for years because they haven't really done much with this character.
No.
So when you go to Disney, she's walking around. Most kids aren't running up to her. They're running up to other characters they know. This movie is an attempt to change that and add value back into their Snow White IP. So there's a lot riding on this. So they want it to be really good. They're not putting this out. Like, people are like, oh, it's just a cash grab. It's not really a cash grab. I mean, yes, they want to make money, but they also want to use this to reinvigorate interest into Snow White at the parks and merchandise.
And I've talked about this previously. Out of all the like reboots to do, this is one that's very valid. Like, Snow White's almost 100 years old. Like, you need totally valid to be like, hey, people don't know who Snow White is anymore. Let's retell that story.
Yeah.
Totally valid.
Yeah. And then I see
valid.
So Jordan says, I agree with you, Eric, but she could have said her criticism in a better way. I think we as humans sometimes say things that come across a different way depending on how it's interpreted, whether it's in a
Bloomhouse.
well, no, because that's the way you say it. But like, if you post something on Instagram without making a video and it's just a statement, you don't know necessarily what the feeling is behind that. This is one of the reasons I don't like to argue with people on Twitter.
Yeah, like you can write, I like balls, but it's like you're talking about basketballs.
Are you okay?
Baseballs.
People,
but without the context, it's like, oh, he likes balls.
Okay,
dude.
People also forget how young of an actress she is. She's currently 23. That statement was said 3-4 years ago at this point. So she was 21. Her first acting job was 21. Was like her first acting job ever is the role she won an Oscar for, right? So it's like she didn't have a lot of experience with like press and a lot of that before her massively first big hit, right? So she doesn't have like a lot of this experience a lot of these other actors or actresses would have. We got
to give people a little bit of grace. Like you have to realize that sometimes when you're new in the game, you're not going to make the best decisions. Now, if she's been an actor for 30 years and she goes around saying stuff that's a PR nightmare, that's a different story. You've been doing it long enough, you know better at this point.
Yeah.
And look, she might continue to say dumb stuff, and that's fine. But I'm willing to give her a shot. Like, so we're saying that her career, Jordan, I'm not saying that you're saying this, okay? But the people that are complaining about her daily are saying that her career should be tanked because she doesn't want to do a Snow White the same way it was done 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That should tank her entire career. That it equals making videos calling her racist stuff. Like none of that. Ugly. None of that is necessary. It's just not necessary. So, yeah, I that's how I feel about it. But
I heard Paige used to stalk her back in the day.
Oh yeah, I stalked her all the way up from over here with my teleportation machine.
Naruto here with another super chat.
Are you turning to fucking 3-dub, changing your room around as well, Lance? Like every single time I see your background, it's changed.
I think this is just a different direction, right?
What is this, like the casting couch angle or something?
No, this is I had to figure out a way to get my drums to fit in here, so I just moved my desk to the corner to open up the room.
Okay.
I gotta start making my other monies.
Oh, gotcha. Naruto here with the super chat. Yeah. Are you gonna interrupt me before I say this one more time? I've tried 3 times.
I don't know.
You need to apologize. Oh, by the way, I've got to say something about Hero's Journey when we get done with this.
No.
I got to tell you guys something. It's hilarious.
Oh, no.
I promise you, it's hilarious.
What did he do now?
Well, let me finish this and I'll tell you. So Matt should have tried to get the subway cam footage. Did they not have that footage in the episode?
No. That's been a big nitpick that people have said. Where it's like, why didn't they just take the footage and so they can
I didn't even think about that. That's
No.
a good point. That's actually a really good point.
Tiny little
All
plot
right.
hole.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody in the chat, anybody that's been here for a long time probably remembers Hero's Journey. They used to come in here all the time.
My boy.
Right. Who just didn't like Supergirl and always talk shit about her, right? Which is fine. So he stopped coming in a while ago, and people were saying that he was mad at me, and I'm like, I don't know why he's mad at me because I've never said anything. Like, I'm one of the few people that I would always pull up his super chats and read them out. I never said anything or whatever. And apparently they were saying he's mad at me. I'm like, I don't know why. Anyway, I don't really care. But so I was in another stream twice now, and he'll just randomly pop in. This is how stupid this is, and say hello to the other people in the stream, but not say hi to me. And I'm like,
Yep.
what the? Are you 5? Like, what is this? How stupid is that? It's so stupid.
He does that. To everybody. Yeah.
So he was mad at you?
Oh yeah, I was there in the stream where he got mad at you. Yeah.
At me or Lance?
Yeah, you. Yeah, it wasn't
So,
like.
He was mad at me because he wanted me to force someone to apologize to him.
What?
I can't make people do anything. I can't make anyone do anything. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, holding that against me is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I can't force someone to apologize to anybody.
Well, I called him a misogynist, didn't I? Or something that was like a massive.
I don't remember. I don't even remember. It was such a
something like that.
random, silly thing. Like, when people get offended by stuff that's clearly like playing around and joking, I have no patience for that. Like, I just don't, right? So he's in here calling Melissa Benoist all kinds of awful things, but then the minute you're like challenge him on it, he got upset about it. And I'm like, it's fine, whatever. Like,
me and 3Dubs was even more stupid because like he was saying shit about Supergirl inside the chat and we literally held up our Supergirl like DVDs to him and he's like how could you do this to me? And like he would show up in my streams and like he would just talk to Taz. He'd be like, "Hi Taz, how's it going?"
Yeah.
He would ask Taz questions.
It's really funny.
Stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I have a question, Eric. I don't know if
Yeah.
you have an answer. Lance might be more expertise on it than you. But
Okay.
is Hero's Journey like a Gooner?
Well, you know, me and
I only say that because Lance sort of looks like the dude who got caught gooning in the drive-through.
Why? Like, why are we going back to that guy?
me and Omega had our run-in with him. He asked us on his stream,
I remember that.
and we told you like it was weird. We're thinking like, okay, cool, this guy, you know, we're thinking he's gonna have somebody on the stream. Nobody came on the stream. The only people asking him questions, I think, were bots that he was like.
You went on his stream.
Yes, me and Omega went on his stream to rank. We're thinking like live action Batman costume. Like we were just being nice. Like we're thinking it's live action Batman. No, he's literally pulling up Batman costumes out his ass.
You know who else? You know who else was being nice?
Who?
Ted Bundy's victims. Like, be careful next time.
I will say this though, like I know he's watching. So I know he's watching the streams. He just doesn't talk, which is fine. But if you're watching this and you don't want to talk to me or whatever, it doesn't bother me. Like it does. If you want to come in and talk to other people in the streams, I don't care. You don't need to waste your time doing that. I just want to put that out there. It doesn't bother me. It makes you look like a weirdo.
Have you seen the videos that he makes on his personal page?
The robot voice.
They're bad. They're just like videos like calling Melissa like a devil, like this witch woman. Like they are like.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, look, Paigey, South Texas Shark says, well, I am a Gooner. All right, well, there we have it.
Right. Is that like a goner? Is that like misspelled goner? Like I'm a goner?
I mean, you just keep mispronouncing things like cicada. Like you can't get any of it right.
Wormhouse, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Meister says this was like a year. Right, that's why when he came in and did it, I'm like, I haven't seen you in forever. And coming into other people's streams and saying hi to them to make me see that you're there so I will talk to you is weird behavior. It's really weird.
I did see speaking of gooning, I saw a theory that modern day or current, I think they specified NBA, but also maybe chucked in the NFL, all the people under like the age of like 25 to 28 are all gooners but with a lot of money because they're all just like hooking up with like OnlyFans models and porn stars and stuff.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. This actually is a real thing. Like, okay, I thought you were just fucking around. No.
Like there's
I
like
understand
an
what you're saying.
abundance
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like, and like there's like 23, 24-year-olds that have like 35-year-old girlfriends who are like
so
hide porn stars.
My theory about that is that OnlyFans is like, it's basically just another social media site, and people go on there looking to meet people just like they do anywhere
Well,
else.
remember that?
You know
Remember
what
that
I mean?
thing I sent you? Like it was a while ago.
I don't remember if it was about that.
There was a guy that the photo with that.
No, I don't
OnlyFans thing,
remember.
He spent like. Why are you saying no? Is I haven't finished explaining it. But he like stalked her to get a photo, and he showed.
Oh,
her that he
yeah,
spent,
yeah.
grand on her or something, and he was like this like honestly, you look like a skinhead to be completely honest.
Before you jump, because you got to go soon, right? Don't you have to leave soon?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I brought up gooning before I
Well,
left.
one last thing before you.
PG.
What?
Don't
We're going
worry,
to talk
I got
about
some
Anthony
stuff.
Mackie next, so Lance is here for that.
Yeah.
So did you guys see the Japanese streamer that got killed on stream?
Whoa,
What?
no,
No.
what happened there?
Okay.
I told you that I saw that guy snort meth though, didn't I?
It's not,
On stream.
has nothing to do with this.
But I told you that, right? That was here.
You
right?
did tell me, but it has
Okay,
nothing to
so-
do with this. I don't know why you
Well, yeah, it
brought
was
that
on
up when I'm
stream,
talking about
'cause it was
this.
on stream.
But that says it's not correlated. We're on stream. What does that have to
but
do with that?
they
Like it
were
has
both-
nothing
so
to do
a
with
guy
it.
got killed on stream. A guy snorted meth on stream.
Right. Okay. So Japanese streamer was using it wasn't Instagram, but it was like the Japanese version of TikTok, whatever that is. I don't know what the name of the
Red Note?
Anyway, huh?
Red
Red
Note.
tube.
No.
Red shell.
I don't know what it was. Anyway, she was walking around. She does IRL streams, so she's like going around like with her camera everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? Like going to the store, going to the mall, going shopping, places like that. She's an IRL streamer. She's always streaming. Well, somebody that watches her streamed, she kept promising that she would meet him in person, I guess. Like
Oh,
they
God.
would meet or whatever. Not for that stuff though. Just like
no. But I just mean like he was a stalker.
yes. So he ended up tipping her the equivalent of $13,000 US.
Jesus.
And then she blocked him. So he was so mad because he couldn't get his money back that followed her and yeeted her on live stream.
How?
He knew where she was.
No, but like
Well, it's Japan, so they have really strict laws about like weapons and stuff. So it was just a knife.
a knife. Yeah, I assumed it was a knife. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
be
What, so,
careful,
like-
y'all. Be careful. Like if
What,
you
so
are
she's-
IRL
so she's-
streaming.
So she's live streaming, all of a sudden you just hear like screaming and then silence. Or something
Well,
like that.
they actually blocked it pretty quickly. It was like as soon as it happened, within like 20 seconds, it was like the screen was sort of black, and then the company ended the stream. So I guess they knew something was going on, but because she was one of their bigger streamers, I believe. Like she had
Reminds me of that. Remember that
followers,
chick that got like the singer that got the stalker, and he was like mentally deranged and thought they were going to get married and stuff. And then
Which singer was that? I do
I
remember.
can't
that.
remember
Oh.
her name. She was like an American Idol chick.
Yeah,
or
she
something.
wanted. She like went on American. I remember that, and then he showed.
I can't
up-
remember.
It wasn't. It
name.
wasn't
On our
Catherine
show.
McPhee, or was it Catherine
No.
McPhee?
No, Catherine McPhee is still alive.
I haven't heard
I
any music
forgot-
from her, so I don't
I
know.
forgot her name.
Is that a subtle diss?
Kind of Christina Grimy. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
right.
That's
Christina
it.
Grimmie.
Yeah, that's it. And
Grimmy.
like the guy like was just like thought he was married to her, but they'd never talked or something like that. And just in his head, he was like deranged.
All I'm saying now is like if you want to do IRL streams, you need to be very, very careful. Like don't. give away
That's
too
why
much
I'm always
information,
like.
so.
That's why I'm always like telling Eric. Twerk with caution.
I
You know
don't
who's
go
gonna get
anywhere.
upset.
I'm literally in my house. What are you talking
Work
about?
with caution is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a t-shirt.
Twerk with caution.
Caution twerking.
Merch coming next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paige, you got to jump out of here before we start the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure that
Paigey,
shirt
where do
doesn't
you
say
have to
no?
go? I'm sure, but where do you have to go, Paigey?
All right, just that I have no proper internet, so I'm like running up my mobile internet at the moment.
Oh, okay, I thought it was because I was black and I jumped in the show.
No, it's because you need to get a fresh trim. That is fucking zigzag.
Oh,
What is going
no.
on there, land?
I'm
The
getting my haircut on.
roasting
I'm
that's
getting my
happening
haircut
right
on
now.
Look at
Saturday.
God, looks like someone's writing cursive. What's going on up there?
No.
I'm getting a haircut on Saturday, sir.
Can you bring up the gooning dude in the car photo of that Eric? just for Lance reference.
Oh, the gooning guy in the car. Here we go.
Yeah, the goon mobile. goon drums. Goon drums.
No, I'm not pulling that up on screen. We're not doing that.
Oh, it's all a joke, Lance.
All
Or
right,
is
get out
it?
of here before your internet blows up. All right. Okay. So here's the Anthony Mackie clip. Then we'll talk about Invincible after this. By the way, before we get into this, though, I want to check out and see where we're at in the goals. So, hold on, where are we at? We are 2 out of 5 for tonight. 2 out of 5.
Oh, I just made the mistake of opening the chat.
What?
The Twitter group chat and see what.
Oh, the thing that Paigey posted. Yeah. So we still got time, guys. We got an hour left to do 3 more super chats.
How old
to
is
the
that
goal.
drum set? My wife got it for me for Christmas.
Oh, so that's relatively new then.
Yeah,
So,
I just pulled it out the box.
All right. So let's watch. Okay, so this clip here that we're going to look at. There's an hour. I don't know if you know or not, but there's an hour-long interview with Anthony Mackie with these guys, where he talks about so much different stuff. But this is the clip that's going viral, and it's kind of like him sort of talking about how he's raising his kids and the way he sees the world around him. So I'm not going to dispute any of that. I think that that's all about like perspective. But there are some people that are like, some of the things he's saying, even though, let's be clear here, it's not like he's saying one thing is bad, but he's talking about what he's doing with his family. And I wanted Lance to be here because Lance had a different of opinion about this than I did. A little bit, slightly. So we'll see what he thinks. And I don't know, Darren, have you heard this clip at all? Have you watched this?
I've seen the post, but I haven't actually watched the video or seen the context. So
Okay.
I've been
All right,
waiting.
so
Yeah.
it's a
I'm
1 minute.
glad Darren can watch this because Darren is black. So
Jeez. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I don't know if we're going to get copyright hit on this one because the couple of the other clips we looked at, they've been fine, but then some of these podcast people are wilding out and they're just going through and like claiming everybody's stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and watch this and hear what he has to say. And I will pause it here and there so we can kind of get our thoughts out. So if you guys have anything you want to say, just let me know and I'll pause it. Anyway, let's go.
I keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys
That's
don't
crazy.
do all that internet fly shit.
I never had
I'm
a
like,
pair
you
of
kidding?
Jordans.
Well, let me just say this though, like when you're, well, yeah, but he's a celebrity. Like he's got money. Like it's just weird that it's not that he shouldn't get them because it does like equal to materialism or whatever. But the fact they've never had, like they've never asked for them. You mean to tell me they've never asked for Jordans? I think at least in my era of growing up, everybody had at least one pair of Jordans they had in their life. Like they had to save for it, or at Christmas time, or your birthday, or something. You got a pair of Jordans here or there. So it's just that's my era. I don't know. Anyway,
Kids. And no, I don't give I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid.
Mhm.
Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out.
all right, Lance, I need your perspective on that because you got 25,000 children. So
I do like to.
okay, all right.
run around
So
the man juice.
from a father who has like lots of kids at different ages, is that something that you can like relate to? Is it like if one kid is a good kid, it helps make the other kids a good kid, or is that completely like made up? Like, is that a real thing or not?
In some instances, I get what he's saying because the oldest, especially the older they are, the more the other kids flock to them. So, like for example, with my own daughter, my oldest, I've been on them all week about getting their room clean. They have company coming over this weekend. You need to get your room clean. You need to keep it clean. They don't start doing this.
Oh no. Maybe I should take back the whole thing about like let's hear Lance's opinion on this.
They don't when they see their big sister, just like sitting down chilling or doing a half job, they flock to do whatever she does. And I literally just had this same conversation with her earlier because at a certain point you just get tired of it. So I'm like, okay, since y'all want to play it this way, since you don't want to lead by example, you're going to do it by yourself and you're going to keep doing it until it's, to the way that I like it. So I get what he's saying, but in other instances, the all kids have different personalities like that.
Yeah. And I would imagine it's not like a universal experience.
Yeah.
Like how your kids act would probably be different
Yeah.
than someone else's kids would act. Like it's.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because Anthony says, you have one good one, then it kind of falls in line. Again, this is him talking about like from his perspective. So we have to remember that this is like the way he views his life. So basically, essentially what he's saying here is I don't want my kids to be materialistic. I don't want them to be bad kids because they get on the internet and do TikTok challenges. Like I get all that. I understand all that. Here's where things start to take a little turn where I think people have an issue with it. And hopefully I can explain why I think people have an issue with it, but I also want to point out that I don't think Anthony means it the way that people are taking it. So
Anthony doesn't mean anything the way people take it. They just
well, they say he's a bad person. Like they say that he was pumping gas and he didn't want to give me a freaking picture and an autograph. And
I don't get what people don't get about dude. He's out just being regular. He doesn't want to be outed. One person sees him, then 5,000 more people flock around, and then he's
I mean, if you listen to him in this interview right there, he's talking about staying humble. It's probably just wants to live his life, man. He wants to be able to go out and just do things, and he doesn't want to be your typical celebrity, and that's cool. Like I don't think there's a problem with that.
Nope. So it's just that thing of in the past 20 years we've been living through the death of the American male.
There we go. There we go. That's the line that people have an issue with. Now, Lance, I want you to tell me your thoughts on this, but let me tell you why I think people are having an issue with this. This is a talking point of like extremely bigoted people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and I don't think Anthony is. I don't get that from him at all. But the problem is you have someone that people really admire, that a lot of people love, who is now saying the stuff that all of these fucking awful people who don't like him as Captain America are saying. So he's just literally repeating the stuff that they're saying. So I think that's the issue. But you said that you kind of, I think at least in Twitter, you made it seem like you understood sort of like what he was saying. Yeah. So try to tell me what you take away from that line before we hear the rest of his statement. I'm just curious,
So when I watched the clip earlier, when he said that, I kind of like paused. I said, "Uh-oh, here we go. What is he about to say? Is he about to say something?"
You knew it was going to be a problematic.
I knew it was going to be problematic, but as he went on, I get it, especially from the Black experience. What he's saying by the American man, whatever he said.
Should we let him go on a little bit more? Should I do that? Okay, all right. Let's do that, and then I'll pause it and we can talk about it. Here we go. All right, so let's wind it back a little bit here. There we go.
Years we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men.
All right, we'll stop it there. All right, so essentially what I take from this as an outsider, because obviously my family dynamic is nothing like his. My experience is going to be nothing like his. But what I think he's saying, and Lance, you said that you kind of understand, so I'm going to let you clear it up for me. But I think he's saying that in the Black community specifically, there's been some issues with how men are perceived as family men and the dynamic in the household. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly how I took it when he explained more and explained like how his sons, yes ma'am, no ma'am, they open the door, yes sir, no sir, they open the door for females. When he's not at home, he makes sure his 15-year-old is taking care of the house. He's making sure, because us is like the way some of these kids are coming up now, a lot of them unfortunately they don't know their fathers, right? Or their fathers are just their fathers just are horrible. They're deadbeats. They know them, but some of their fathers, their dads are running the streets, or they themselves are running the streets. And unfortunately, that is a stereotype that African Americans.
Do you see this kind of stuff in your church as well, like different families and dynamics where there's issues in the family? So you probably see some of this stuff firsthand, then, like people that Okay, let's let him finish here.
And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. Okay. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided.
So all of that sounds good to me. Like that's like you're teaching your child to have manners. You're teaching them to be good people. And again, this is from his perspective. And I understand that people are upset because these are talking points that we hear from like the bigots on YouTube and on social media. But the problem is people wanting to have their families a certain way is not monolithic. It's not like everybody's family is going to be the same. I just don't think because I don't think Anthony keeps up with that shit. Do you think Anthony goes around watching the videos of people saying they don't want a black Captain America? Probably not. I don't think he cares about those videos. So he doesn't know what these people are saying. But the problem is this is the stuff that we hear people saying. Like, we hear it. So when he says it, it's like, holy shit. The problem is we're not going to be able to get through to that to Anthony because Anthony doesn't get caught up in this internet stuff.
Sure.
Yep.
He just doesn't. But to me, from what if I'm using context clues on what he's saying and I'm really thinking about it, I think he's talking about, I just want to raise my kids to be good people. I want them to respect the people in their families. I want them to take care of the people in their families. It's just, he's using a lot of the buzzwords and a lot of the statements that these guys make. And look, I could be completely wrong. We could be wrong. He could absolutely be 100% like anti a bunch of stuff. But I don't believe that Chris Evans will be friends with somebody that has those kinds of values. That doesn't make any sense because Chris Evans also is a very nice guy. He's a respectful guy. So I just don't see that happening as well. But I could be totally wrong. Let's finish this whole clip out here.
They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old.
Okay, so Darren, I see you shaking your head, right? Like that's another thing is that statement talked about the death of the American male and then saying they'll always be men. That's where a lot of people who do not, who are non-binary, who could be trans or non-gender conforming or something like that, they see that as being a negative towards them because it's coming from the position of a celebrity who has a platform. So even if this is how he's raising his family, they feel like he's looking down on them as a community by saying these things.
Yeah, like, it's tough because I don't think he meant anything wrong by this.
I don't either.
I think in his mind, like, this is a totally valid thing to say. Like, I'm not trying to, like, cancel Anthony Mackie, but, like, you're right. Like, this is a win for the wrong kind of the internet. This is, like, I think it's, like, a little bit problematic just in the way of, like, well, this is what a man is. And it's, like, but who gets to decide exactly what a man is? Right.
But see, in his family, in his upbringing, he does decide that, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't decide it for everybody else. And that's the problem is that when you have a position and a platform, it becomes that. When it reaches out and it becomes that. Because here's the deal. All the guys, and I can guarantee this tomorrow in the chat, some of you guys probably already know this. All of the people who have said racist stuff about him and bigoted stuff about him, they're going to take this clip and they're going to be like, this guy's based as fuck. He's saying all the things that we should be listening to. And why didn't you say this before Captain America came out so we could have supported you as Captain America? And that's the problem. That's the issue I have with it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't, and again, it's a little bit of ignorance on Anthony's part, but it's not a problem. He just doesn't get involved with the internet stuff.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So let's run this back a little bit. Hold on. Let's run this back.
But since they were 2 years old, every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, "You the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked
That's
every
fine.
night. This
That's
alarm
fine.
is
No
on.
problem with that.
You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up."
That's great. No problem with that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window. That money means nothing. You can have all the celebrity.
None of that's wrong.
Jump through the door. That celebrity means nothing. So you got to have a little guard in there, And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Okay, so that's a clip from there's a really long podcast we're not going to watch, but that's a bit of that. So go ahead.
I think it's just like how he's saying it. Like I think like when you boil it down, like I think it's ultimately okay. Like maybe there's like a little bit there where it's like who gets to decide what the traditional man is. Like I'm a much more feminine man than, a lot of other people and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, do I not fit into that bubble?
The other reason is that does that mean that you are contributing to the death of the American male is ultimately the question we'd be asking. Now, Lance, you had your hand raised. What were you going to say?
This is the first time I'm ever hearing about him having kids.
Yeah, I never knew that either till this interview.
So I'm like,
I didn't know that.
Is he married?
I think it's kind of crazy that we know so little about Anthony Mackie. Because
I think that's good because he keeps
no, it is good. 100%.
Like out the public eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has 4.
Wow.
4 kids. Lance, he's trying to catch up with you.
I guess so. I also didn't know he was older than Chris Evans. So.
Yeah,
by 3 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so let me sort of unpack this just a little bit. I know because I have talked to a lot of my friends who are in these types of more traditional family setups where there is sort of discussions about how you want to move forward as kids, how you want them to grow up, how you want them to be. And as long as Anthony isn't sort of forcing his kids to do things and they're just following in his footsteps by example, I don't have a problem with that. I also don't have an issue if he wants to raise his kids to be respectful. I think that's great. I think everybody should raise their kids to be respectful. I think that's awesome. You should raise your kids to take care of their parents, especially their mothers and stuff. I get all that. No, I have no issues with any of that stuff. I just think the wording around like traditional masculinity and the death of the American male and all of those are phrases that get used by like the bigoted people. And I don't know if he knows that or not. Maybe he does. I'd like to think he doesn't, and he's just saying it because he doesn't understand that that's what it is. But I can't help but wonder, like, if he knew, would he have changed the way he said it? I mean, I also want to point out he's in a room with what I think is at least 3 other guys, and they're just having like a guy conversation. You know what I mean? They're just all chatting with each other. It's very casual, which I appreciate about it. I think that's a great way to run a podcast because he's just having a conversation with these guys. And so that dynamic, what did my cat do? Anyway, that dynamic leads into more like just random, real, honest comments to come out.
Yeah.
So this is how he truly feels. I'm not holding any of that against him, but I will say it is unfortunate that now this clip is going to be shoved in people's faces for years.
It's not going to last that long. You
don't think so?
Something else is gonna, just like the other comments he made about Captain America and standing for America. That even though Chris Evans literally said the same thing, and you guys didn't bat an eye a couple years ago. That's true. This is gonna be blown over and died down. In other news, I did just look up his ex-wife. Nice, if I must say so myself.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Keep talking. I just gotta step away for a moment.
Yeah.
So, Darren.
Yes, hello.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you?
I can't complain. Can't complain at all. Just got my notes together for my Invincible review that I'll be recording tomorrow. Just made a thumbnail. Hopefully, it does not get flagged for being too bloody.
Yeah, no, I feel bad for all the reaction channels who had to like edit around that episode.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't even know how they began to edit around the episode.
The clip is from today. It came out today. So anyway, I just checked. I don't see anybody there's some people are saying they're already making videos about this. I don't see any yet, but that doesn't mean they're not actually happening.
I just see a lot of people that aren't black and aren't raising black kids talking on this.
Yeah.
You can't speak on the black experience of raising 4 young black men in America.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm glad you're here, because I wanted to get your perspective. Because when I said this is what I think he means, and you said that's right, that's exactly what I thought it was. I was like, this is what it is. Yeah. Like, you know, all the extra stuff that people are reading into it, I don't think that he means those things. I don't think he's out here saying that gay people are bad and that trans people are bad. I don't think that. But unfortunately, this kind of dialogue that he's saying with these guys is exactly how it happens. And you know,
at the end of the day, what a lot of people have to realize is you can raise your kids up to a certain age. Like, they're going to become adults. What they decide to do, you know, who they decide to love, you know, whatever they decide to be. Once they hit a certain age, once they hit like 17, 18, all you can do is love them through it. Just because he's saying he's raising them to be men, yes, that's what he's raising them to be. He doesn't necessarily mean a legit gender stereotype. But for right now, they're the ones that are at home with their mother. They're the ones that have to take care of their mother. He's raising them to be respectable young men.
In the way he knows how.
In the way he knows how. That way, he doesn't have to hear about, oh, unfortunately, your son was, pew-pewed on the street or whatever by a cop because he was being disrespectful, or your son was caught, running the street with some gang members, yada yada yada. He doesn't want to have to deal with that. That's why he's keeping them humble. He's keeping them out. He's keeping them out the spotlight.
It sounds to me like but it sounds to me like outside of the additional this is the death of the American male or whatever. Outside of that, it seems like he's just trying to raise them to be good kids. That's what it sounds like to me.
People talking about Jordan. I never got a pair of Jordans as a kid. When I was a kid, my dad bought me 2 pairs of shoes for the school year. That was it, and I had to make it last.
I don't want you to see my shoe room right now.
So I'm like, and honestly, that's the way you think I'm out here buying my kids flashy Jordans. No,
yeah, 4 of them. You can afford that.
We going to shoe carnival, and you picking as long as it ain't
shoe carnival. Oh my god!
I don't care. Like you're like kids run through stuff. They value stuff.
Well, the other thing is, if you got like a 6-year-old, you buy them shoes, in like 6 months they're wearing another size.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
people freaking out about the Jordans thing is just insane to me.
Are there people really freaking out about that?
Yeah, talking about some. This is gonna damage the black community.
What?
Explain to me.
Hold on, that's crazy. That's crazy.
The guy you shared earlier, and I commented and said, please do not speak on anything for black people.
Wait, to the guy that I commented under?
Yeah. I'm like, please do not speak on anything for black people. And then I go to his page, and on what is he sharing? Oh, he's all for Trump. So I'm like, not surprised.
But that's the problem is that's what that kind of language leads back to, which is why I knew this was going to be a touchy subject. But I definitely wanted to talk about it only because I felt like there was some definite context there that needs to be discussed. Let me drop this out here. So Darren shared something here. Let me pull this up in the private chat. I don't know if I trust
it because of the source though.
By the way, had you seen the other interview that had dropped this week for Hudson Thames?
No. I did. Yeah.
You shouldn't have explained that.
Hold on. I did a whole video that's coming out tomorrow on that, but we could talk about it a little bit tonight if you want. But let me pull this up first. Hold on. So this is from the N. Snyder, the guy who went on the internet and was asking women to come and be with a high value male. Anyway, he goes, Jason Ritter's been cast in Lanterns, but what role? What role is he going to be?
Could just be like bartender, right? Like it's a small town setting. It could just be like barber, like a member of the community or whatever.
I'm gonna go on record now saying I think it's Superboy. I think he's been cast as Superboy. So
I'm gonna go on record and say as soon as I saw the N. Snyder,
fair.
Hold on, where we got here.
But why would he lie about that? Like I feel like
he lies about everything.
That's true, but that's
well.
Not like
he also said that Tom Cruise is going to be playing Jor-El.
I saw that. So dumb.
Do we think so?
No.
You don't think that's true?
No. If you cast him, you're giving him a much bigger role than Jor-El.
Well, all right. Let me drop this down here. All right. Let's see. Should we talk about Invincible? Have you watched Invincible yet, Lance?
Yeah, I just finished it.
Okay. Let's talk about that before we get to our, because I want to look at this Lilo and Stitch trailer that I haven't watched yet. Okay. Invincible. Was this like the mid-season break? Because aren't these breaking up the season in 2 halves or no?
Invincible? This is the last episode. This is the final.
Yeah. I was asking, is it like half of the season or is it the end of the season? Okay.
It's over.
All right. Because I thought it was, but somebody was saying they were breaking the season up in 2, and I'm like, I don't think they are.
No.
So I want to say when I mentioned people were going to hate what Conquest did to Adam Eve last week, this is what I was talking about from the comics. I kid you not. We were watching it today with like a group of people, and there were people so grossed out they had to step out of the room because the episode was so violent.
My mouth was on the floor. Like I kid you not. I was shocked. I was shocked.
By what? Which part of it? Just all of it, or
by all? bro. The part that killed me was literally Oliver. Like Oliver has like the best one-liners and quips.
Right.
He says, "Time to." I wrote it down in my notes. It said something along the lines of "Time to whoop some old ass," and one smack, and you eating dirt, bro.
Yeah.
And it's not even like the traditional. He smacked you from the back, and you hit the ground and just got and you're done. Like, dog. Why doesn't I get it from his, the Thraxan part of him? Like, he's not muscular, but you would think like the Viltrumite part of him would make him more durable.
Right.
Like, granted, anybody else would have died from that, but you were this close from death.
Well, the thing was, I was thinking, why is he yelling stuff while trying to sneak attack somebody?
He's not that bright.
I guess
he
was like
horrible, but
he was 1 second away from punching the hell out of Conquest. He's like, I'm like, okay, there we go. Like he's like, gotta say something.
Let me see.
Also, I want to say the artwork was much better in this episode.
Oh,
it felt like it was
really
super dynamic this week. I was really excited about it. Conquest was weird.
He really was.
Like, I mean, I know he's weird in the comics, but he was just like hearing him actually say the things and like, obviously Jeffrey Dean Morgan's voice is
fantastic.
Yeah, great for this role.
I'm lonely, Mark.
But I know, that was the part that got me. I have no friends. They send me because they don't like me. Yeah, nobody talks to me.
Everybody's afraid of me.
Yeah.
I don't even get a real name. Take it to your grave. And I'm like, dog, Mark's about to literally die right now, and he's not gonna fight back.
The only thing I will say, and I know it is like in the comics, but Mark needs some heavy hardcore training or something. Like he is a punching bag. Like that's just what he is.
All Viltrumites are punching. You're trying to tell, and people try to tell me that Viltrumites would wipe out the Sands. Oh, please miss me with that. You can't even punch somebody in the face without shattering all of this.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I'm so glad to see like Adam Eve actually do something. Like this episode was like, where was all of this over the whole season?
It mental blocks.
I know, but it's like crazy.
They find like it has to be like in moments of extreme like stress, I guess. So like I get it, but it's like, bro, we talk about mental blocks in every single superhero show. This is the one show where they honestly explain it, and it's hilarious. And then she's like, "I'm sorry you didn't tell you. You're sorry you didn't tell him about mental blocks. If you knew you had them, I wouldn't tell anybody either, because you're letting them know you're weak." Like, I wouldn't tell anybody that. Hey, yeah, Mark, I would go all out, but since I was a kid, they put mental blocks in me to control this.
I'm actually surprised that she hasn't tried to like do something about it though, like to
I know, right?
Well, then there wouldn't be a show, right? Like you can't have her have her.
Well, look, Adam Eve. Look, so when Adam Eve became Phoenix and was born again or whatever, she was essentially Dr. Manhattan in that moment for like the time that she was in that form. So I want to see that, but that is so OP that I don't know how you would balance a show around that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And if the show goes on long enough, we're going to see how powerful she is, because she's actually really, really powerful. We got to wait for the show to go on a bit more. But love the artwork, love the story. Great way to wrap up the season. Great way to set up next season, which I believe is actually coming out next year.
Yep.
So we don't have to wait like 2 years for another season of Invincible. But just great stuff. I have really no complaints about the episode whatsoever. I think it was just great.
Did it hurt? Like hearing, like Steven Yeun gave his best performance of the season when Eve was basically like dying, quote unquote, and he was like, he's calling for Cecil. Like, I said, oh dang, like he's down bad. But Conquest did her Like he punched her so hard, her face came off, bro.
Yeah, it was rough.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at that part because I'm like, how hard do you gotta?
What did we think about the funeral for Rex? Was it that anybody tear up at that funeral?
No, Robot made it weird. I'm gonna change my name to Rex in honor
because he is Rex, right? Like he's Rex.
He's a clone of Rex. Yeah.
Yes, but it's still weird. And then Monster Girl's like, I love you for that. Excuse me?
I think Mark was more weird, being like, I just can't stop laughing. Like I have you back now. It's like, do that later, Mark. Like it's a funeral. Like
Mark couldn't even take his own.
By the way, I'm waiting for the wire to come, but I got a new like audio mixer for my microphone. I haven't actually plugged it into the mic yet, other than testing it out. But I'm waiting for the actual cable to come in. But it's got like different voices, and it should make my audio quality better. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, you're gonna be sounding like Taz.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. All right. Wow, it's the Lilo and Stitch trailer's 2 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Yeah.
You heard about the somebody said Anthony Mackie is abusive. What?
I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, maybe he is, but I don't know. I'm not gonna.
The Lilo and Stitch trailer was like it looks really, really good, but apparently that has controversy now.
Wait. Before we watch the trailer, what's the controversy?
They're mad because Pleakley and Jumba aren't. They
I saw that
human disguises, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't remember that Pleakley dressed in drag, basically.
Oh yeah, that's his whole thing. Yeah,
I didn't remember that. So hearing everybody complain about it, I'm like, do you guys like frequently rewatch Lilo and Stitch or something? I haven't watched Lilo and Stitch since it came out, so
yeah,
I didn't remember that. That's not gonna hurt. Like that's not bothering me. What did you expect? They casted these actors. They want to see these actors.
Right.
It's not like a purely CGI heavy film. Like it's a CGI heavy film, but it's not like Lion King or Jungle Book. Like you cast these actors, you're gonna see these actors.
Yeah. All right, let's watch the trailer straight through because it's a Disney one, so it might get removed. You guys know the drill. Let's go.
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment. Where is he?
He escaped.
He's trying to find the police cruisers.
He took the red one. What hideous planet is caught in your crosshairs?
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
What the hell?
Oh, Memorial Day too? Oh, wow. This is going to be a big hit for Disney.
So cute and fluffy.
He is your responsibility. Got it.
We promise.
Yeah.
Down from there.
You look like an angel.
No. Control him. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
No. Dogs on the table.
You sure that's a dog?
Yeah.
Rough.
Ew. We are not keeping this thing.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind
or forgotten.
Stitch that.
Sometimes family isn't perfect. That doesn't mean they aren't good. That was close. I don't think you're supposed to drink that.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
Agent Cobra Bubbles, we have a blue dog to catch.
No, wait.
So people are mad about that part?
I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.
Oh my God. All right. this is going to be a massive movie for them.
$1 billion. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, this is crazy good. I know people have concerns about quality, but then you can't make everybody happy because remember when people were complaining about How to Train Your Dragon looked too much like the original movie. So, like, where do you draw the line? Everything has to be the same, or you can change some things. It's like, where does that fall for everybody? It's gonna be different for everyone.
She's not purely wearing the red dress either. So, I mean, are they gonna complain about that?
Maybe. I will say
complained about the sister. They said they darkened her skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Like, wait, the actor or the
actress? They said they darkened her skin.
Oh,
because the actress is lighter than what Nani actually is in the film.
I mean, I'd have to like look at it and see, but I don't know. It's. Do you think they did it on purpose or no? Do you think it's just a lighting choice or what?
I think it's a lighting choice. I don't know. They said they put like makeup on her and like they were breaking down the trailer, and I was just like, is it that serious? Like. The person that had the best audition got the job. Leave it at that. Like,
so watching this trailer, something sort of occurred to me like as we were halfway through. I think that out of all of the animated Disney movies that have been made into live action movies, this one feels the most like it belongs. Like, does that make sense? Like this, it feels like this could have been just this movie. Like this could have been. Lilo and Stitch, like this as the live action thing. It's got a very good transition from being animated to live action, opposed to some of the other ones we've seen. They feel a little bit more forced.
I've said like I said like 6, 7, almost 8 years ago now, where it's like out of all the like Disney live action that you can do, I think Lilo and Stitch is one of the best you can do because it's such a massive world that you can play in, so many planets and species and like different species of the Stitches, and like I think this could be a franchise for Disney going forward. I could see this being like, I know it's owned by Disney, but like Disney's like Star Wars kind of thing. But no, I really adored this trailer. Like I went in kind of skepticism. Like I think with all these ton of live action reboots you have to a little bit, but I think they really nailed this, like obviously sticking to the same overall story and narrative, but there's so much in this trailer I just don't recognize from the original, and I love that. So there's so much like new stuff going into this, which is what I want from a lot of these. I want to have a different experience with these characters and with the story, which it seems like they're doing.
It's coming out over a holiday. That's a big deal. I don't think there's a lot of competition this weekend either. I remember we were looking through trying to see what came out around this time, and I don't think there's a lot of stuff, right?
I mean, Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if that feels like two different demographics.
Yeah. I think it's going to be more interesting because a couple weeks later is How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh.
So those two are going to be interesting.
That is going to be interesting, yeah. I hope they both do well if they're good, you know. I mean, I want them to do well. But, yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Any complaints, anybody? Anything that negative about it, or let's see here. I had something else here. Oh yeah, so Warner Brothers and Legendary's Minecraft movie is looking at a 60 million US Canada opening. We've seen the trailer now. Are we collectively more excited about this movie now, or is it just like nobody cares really?
Yeah, I think it looks awful.
Are you seeing it?
I'm not seeing it. So,
not seeing it at all, or just not seeing it in theaters?
Not seeing it in theaters. I'll wait for streaming because I've never played Minecraft anyway. So,
yeah, I'm not a Minecraft person either. Maybe that's why. You know, I mean, I've played it, but very little. I actually went into Minecraft and made a replica of the Star Trek like spaceships or whatever. Like that's the most I did. I played it on like creative mode. Didn't really try anything else on it.
This is, I think, a huge miss for them because I think this could have been $1 billion movie. Right? Minecraft is the most popular game in the world. Like it's like if you calculate hours, like it is one of the most popular games of all time. And I think people would have seen this. I just think the publicity has been so bad. I think even the younger generation doesn't really want to watch it. Like maybe it's a situation where if it's in theaters and for a long enough time, it will collect its due. But Do we know the budget?
Let me check. Let's see, 150 million.
All right, that's not too bad.
I feel like it's a little bit more than what it should have been for a Minecraft movie, but I think they feel like they can get their money back on this. Maybe they think it is going to be $1 billion movie. Anthony says it should have been animated.
Yeah.
Jose says watching Thunderbolts on May 2nd and Lilo and Stitch on May 23rd. Okay, there we go. Jordan says hot take: Minecraft is overrated as a game. I did want to comment here for South Tech Shark. Did you see the Devil May Cry trailer? I didn't see that. Is that for the animated series coming on Netflix? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. Well, I mean, we might watch it here in a second. We still have some time. I actually want to look over, you guys. We still need 3 super chats to reach the goal. So 3 more super chats, and it looks like the winning topic is top 5 favorite superhero movies. So that is the winning topic at the moment, with 54 votes. So if you're watching on the Reloaded channel, 3 more super chats at TL or higher to get the goal. All right, so I had something else pulled up over here about Cinemacon, because we hadn't talked much about that. But it says here, Warner Brothers Cinemacon event has been dubbed The Big Picture. So this is their little, like, I guess, setup for Cinemacon. It will be a special presentation of their upcoming slate of films. It will likely feature Superman, obviously, F1 starring Brad Pitt, Minecraft movie, and Mortal Kombat 2. So do we think we're just going to get the same Superman trailer again? Is that what you think? Or is it going to be different?
It's this month, right?
I think it's the official trailer.
Like not the teaser, but the trailer.
Not the teaser, but the actual trailer with some dialogue. I think for Cinemacon, I think they're gonna bring some stuff about Supergirl, but it's gonna be like it was last year. We're not gonna see anything. We're just gonna hear about it.
Huh. But Cinemacon is very notorious for not releasing trailers to the public.
Very true, but they kind of have. It's a few trailers at Cinemacon this year that they have to release. We have to get another Superman trailer.
Yeah.
Like regardless, we have not seen anything from Mortal Kombat 2.
Right.
At all. Coming from the Michael movie, we need a trailer, especially since the movie was supposed to be coming out in April originally, and they pushed it back to October. They had the big reveal of the trailer last year at Cinemacon. And it was they just showed footage of the film that was still filming. This is the time to actually release that trailer. It's a lot of stuff that they gotta. It's a lot of stuff that they have to release. We got the first look at Mufasa from Cinemacon last year. So yeah, they got to. If they don't, a lot of movie studios would be fumbling the bag if they do not release the trailers.
Yeah. I think the big marketing push for Superman starts this month. I think it has to. We are 3 months out. Now is the time you really have to push that ahead. So I think that second trailer, has to blow people away, because that first one made huge waves. But once that trailer was out,
did you see the first look at the engineer where she's laying on the ground? We'll look at it here in a second. But I was telling Paigey when I saw this. Let me see. Actually, I'll find it right now. First look engineer. Where's it at? Right here. So this is the first look at the engineer. I'm like, why does James Gunn do this? Can't you just give us a normal picture?
I mean, that's from that I recognize this scene is from when he's fighting
Ultraman or whatever,
Ultraman
whatever
in the studio. I think he did this, but it's only because it's the engineers. It was the engineers' anniversary. I just thought it was funny. But
why are we being so secretive about this character? We've seen a lot of this character in the behind the scenes photos, like a ton of them. I'm just not sure why. I also want to point out the engineer looks really cool in the comics. This just looks like someone in a black latex suit. Like,
I think she's going to have like a fully CGI look, but I think she's going to be able to shift back and forth. That's what I think.
Okay.
It's better than her just walking around in silver paint all day.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But I'm curious to see if they're going to do that, or if that's going to be saved for later on. Like she morphs into that by the end of the movie or something like that. I don't know. I have no clue. We did have a super chat here from Staggervore. Let's see here. While we're on the subject of Warner Brothers, the latest buzz is that if the new Superman movie doesn't do well, Warner Brothers may end up being sold. What are your thoughts? All right, so let's do this.
Published by the Puck.
Yeah.
So
here we go.
I don't trust that anyway.
Okay, well let's just speak theoretically here, because I think we've talked about this before about what's going to happen with DC anyway. But what they're reporting, and I'm using this term loosely, is David Zaslav bet big that they can show the world that the DC IP can have real value. They have a tremendous amount riding on it. Basically saying that if Superman doesn't do well, that's probably it for DC for a while. At least the big budget DC movies. I've said this from the get-go, whether this is true or not, I believe deep down inside that this movie is the big movie for them, for DC.
Yeah.
This is arguably your next largest character to Batman, and you fumbled on this character several times. This is the time you have to get it right. Look, it's got everything going for it. The vibe feels right. You got James Gunn attached to it. It's a reboot of the universe. There's so many things going right with this that if you can't get this right, I might have to agree. Maybe it's time to pack up. I mean, is that fair, or am I being too harsh on it?
I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, if everything was riding on this, just like Puck said, and I have my reasons for not trusting Puck because they like to post all that flack about Michael Jackson stuff.
Right.
If that was true, they wouldn't be filming Lanterns. They would not be filming Supergirl. They would not be doing any of that stuff.
Can I play devil's advocate a little bit? I think that stuff is just stuff they already have going. I think we mean like beyond that, like beyond those movies.
They wouldn't have greenlit filming for that stuff. Yes, announce it, but they wouldn't have greenlit filming. Just like
you're saying that for you, the fact that they even got put into production shows that they are trying for other stuff. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, they wouldn't have done any of that. They wouldn't have put out if they were trying to see if James Gunn could make this work, they wouldn't have put out Creature Commandos. They would have just said, look, we're going to wait for Superman. We're going to see how Superman does. If that pans out, then we'll move forward.
You're a lot more optimistic than I am, because I'm like, I feel like
my thing is we didn't see or hear anything about a spinoff from the Batman until we saw how the Batman did in theaters. There was no Penguin anything until we saw how that did in theaters. If they were hedging all their bets on just Superman, he wouldn't be over in Switzerland, Nicaragua, wherever he's at, filming Supergirl right now.
Is that an official place?
That's an official place. They would not be announcing all these castings for Lanterns, because that all falls under the DC Studios umbrella.
Right.
Yes, you can announce a slate, but if you're hedging your bets, on this one film, if you're so worried about this one film, which rightfully so, because you have a lot of Snyder shields. Sorry if you're a Snyder shield in the comment section. You have a lot of them who are saying they're gonna go boycott this film. So yes, you have a right to be worried. But if that's what you were hedging your bets on, you would not have all these other things in play that you can just say, oh, you know what? We're going to shelve it. Tax write-off here, tax write-off there, because there's just more bad publicity for you at the end of the day.
I don't think they care. I really don't think they care about the bad publicity, or they would have stopped ages ago. You know what I mean? Like,
So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think if it like bombs, then yeah, they're gonna be like, well, we're going a different direction, blah blah blah. But I think they'll put out Supergirl. I think they'll put out Lanterns, but then I think they'll be like, okay, 10 Batman spinoffs have been announced. Here's Solo
I actually think, truth be told, if they decided to sell the DC property, they would sell it without Batman. I think they'd want to keep Batman. They would probably want anything that is Batman or anything that Batman spun off would be property of Warner Brothers. And all the other DC characters would get sold off. Sort of like what Marvel did back in the 90s.
You know what, though? That actually might be good for DC. Whoever got DC next, that actually might be kind of cool for a couple years. If you like, you know what? DC without Batman for like 12 years.
Maybe.
Can you pull up Anthony Beltree's last comment?
Right, this one?
That is very true if they wanted to, but I mean, if we want to be honest, they didn't even want to pick up the show when the CW was on the fence about renewing it in the first.
Even though it's like one of the best fucking shows,
they didn't want to pick it up and fund it. So yes, they could have kept it going, but Superman is such an expensive IP, which is why the CW didn't want to keep funding it.
HBO would never have had Superman Lois. Max, maybe it could have worked on Max. HBO Direct,
Max didn't want it either.
Yeah,
like when they tried to shop it to them, they said hell no.
But here's the thing: Max doesn't have to pay the same things that CW does. It would have been property of Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So they said no without even thinking twice.
They weren't smart. They were just like, oh, the CW doesn't want it. Oh well, maybe we should just axe the entire thing.
It sucks too because those shows do so well on streaming. Those shows do fantastic on streaming. When Stargirl went to Max, it was like number one trending. Like people were loving it. People were watching it on Netflix. Those shows are still trending like every single week. Flash trends, Arrow trends, Legends trends.
Yeah, I just rewatched The Flash and cried every time.
Well, it's your fault it's trending. I see.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nick dropping in with a $20 super chat, just giving love to us for these late night streams. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, I'll buy you a Frosty at Wendy's. So
sweet.
But yeah, so thanks, Nick. I do appreciate you being here. I think I actually have the latest fandom stream with this one. This is the latest one. I don't think anybody streams later than I do anymore. I think I've officially reached like peak stream. So anyway, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Taj, what are you doing still out?
Damn. You see that, Lance?
What?
Taj.
Oh, hey Taj. I'm surprised you're woke. This black on black disrespect has to stop. Just because we're cousins doesn't mean you can come on here and disrespect me late at night.
Damn. Right? Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Especially when he was like he was so happy to be back on Party Nation this week. Like before everybody else came in, he's like, "Man, I'm so excited, man. It's just really cool to be here with you, man. You're my favorite guy."
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah,
Taj, you can respond. I'll pull it up on screen. Anyway, what about this, guys? Sadie Sink has reportedly joined the cast of Spider-Man 4.
Oh my God, it's Mary Jane. Oh my goodness,
Jean Grey, guys, it's crazy.
Wow.
Well, Taj, if you want to be politically correct, hold on, I'm typing it.
You just say it.
Why is he typing it out? Well, I need to know what this word is.
I see.
Oh, got it.
I
Got
see.
it. All right. Okay. So he went there. He's like grammar police. Got it.
Dang it, then I misspelled Jesus.
Oh my God. And then you spelled something wrong. Holy shit. Okay. I just want people to remember this is how he spelled this. Jesus. Have some grammar lessons. All right. Is she going to be MJ or not? Because we know Zendaya is going to be in the movie as well. So
I just love how people are so one-track minded and, for lack of better terms, stupid that they say, "Oh, she has red hair. She has to be playing a red-headed character."
Yeah.
Like, are we serious?
So some people were saying Firestar because Firestar,
to me. Yeah.
Because Jean Grey doesn't make sense. MJ doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Firestar has a connection to Spider-Man because of the animated series.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have her as Firestar. That makes sense to me.
She could be playing Gwen Stacy, Felicia Hardy.
So that's the other thing. Do you think Gwen Stacy is an option?
No.
Okay.
I do.
I unless they don't make her a love interest, right? If she's separate from any love interest, because we got to remember the age difference, right? Tom Holland's 28. He's going to probably be 30 by the time this, or 29 by the time this movie comes out. Sadie Sink's 22, right? There's a pretty decent age gap, so I don't think she's Felicia, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, unless they separate the love connection to her character. She's just
that age gap isn't that bad.
Ash is shouting out that was the cartoon I grew up on with Spider-Man as Amazing Friends. I love that cartoon. Meister says Ben Reilly's girlfriend. I would say Firestar is what I'm going to go with, only because it's the one that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You think Black Cat? Is that what somebody said? I think, did you say it, Darren or Lance?
I didn't say Black Cat. No.
Okay.
That was
Lance.
Felicia Hardy. Hell, for all we know, she could be a Mayday Parker, time traveling.
Yeah, I have heard that theory.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah. I mean, if it's multiverse related, it could be kind of cool, right?
Oh, Jessica Drew. They kind of do look alike.
I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
Route. They kind of do look alike. She's a clone. Clone Saga. Oh, got it. Kevin Feige, you're a genius.
People don't like my theory.
Which one is yours?
Harry Osborn. People don't like it.
Oh.
Harry Osborn.
Oh, did y'all see that Marvel is making a new Thunderbolts comic all of a sudden? And it's launching on June 11th?
Yep.
Shocker.
After the movie, then.
Yep. And Winter Soldier is the flagship character with Black Widow, the OG Black Widow. No love for Yelena. Let's see here. I forgot about this. Somebody wanted to talk about this too. So this was what they said about Guy Gardner. So Nathan Fillion says Guy Gardner is a jerk in Superman. You don't have to be good to be a Green Lantern. You just have to be fearless. I think he has a superpower. It might be his overconfidence that he thinks he can take on Superman. He can't. Well, thanks for spoiling it for us, because I was hoping to see you guys fight, but apparently he's going to easily handle Guy Gardner. Some people are saying this is controversial because they're like, what about willpower? Isn't that where you get your power from? Is willpower? We know we kind of saw he's a jerk, right? I don't feel like that's new. I think that was the vibe of the character from the comics and the vibe in the trailer. So, I mean, you can just look at him and tell he's a jerk. I still think this is a miscast, personally. I think it's a miscast, but that's just me.
I think he's perfect for this role. I think he's perfect. And there was only one weird guy on Twitter that had a problem with this, and he was going back and forth with everybody last night, and everybody was like, "So you're an idiot," because it's like the comics used to read can overcome great fear. Right. Having willpower, to just to overcome fear is technically being fearless. He's taking the term fearless, literally. He's like, if he was fearless, then how did Sinestro become a Yellow Lantern? If Green Lanterns were fearless, then yada 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 yada. I'm like, dog, you're reading too much into it. You're reading way too much into it. Chill out. It's not.
I saw the guy getting dragged on Twitter. I saw that already. I don't like this casting. I've been pretty upfront about that. I think Nathan Fillion could have been other people. I don't like him as this casting, but look, that's fine. I'm willing to give it a shot to see how it is. I'm not saying it's going to ruin. White? Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I understand.
I can't do it. I only approve race swap characters. So once they made him white, I was just like, that's not going to work for me personally. No offense.
I understand 100%.
I also saw that apparently Jason Momoa, they posted the DMs. The DMs were leaked or whatever. I thought that was funny about Lobo.
Did you?
Somebody was like, "Why would they leak DMs without his permission?" I'm like, "Do you not think they got his permission? Give me a break. What the fuck? So stupid." Let's see here. I think that was it from this. Oh wait, here's the other Cinemacon panel stuff. I want to briefly talk about this. So Sony is going to be on March. So this goes March into April. Yep. So Sony's going to be on March 31st. Lionsgate it's on April 1st. That's why it's April Fool's Day. Oh, and Warner Brothers is April 1st too. So April's Fool's Day. So get ready for fake info to get leaked from Cinemacon. Yeah. Be prepared, everybody. I can assure you, on April 1st, you're going to go into Twitter. You want to have a nice afternoon, right? You go into your Twitter, you go into your Instagram, you go into TikTok, you go into YouTube, and you're going to see nothing but fake stories.
Yeah. Ooh, can we pull up Lone Wolf's question?
Yeah. Wilson Fisk impression? I don't know if I can do one, to be honest.
I want to hear Lance's.
Lance, can you do Wilson Fisk? Oh, no.
Vanessa. When I was a boy. That man. When I was a boy.
Vanessa, bring me some nachos.
He talks like that, like naturally now. Like he's doing the interview.
Well, when I was 12, I killed my father with a hammer.
Right. Yeah.
Vanessa, no. Come back, Vanessa. I'm the mayor of New York City, and I won't tolerate vigilantes.
Mine is not that good. I can't really do the voice. So. I'm still blocked by him on Twitter, by the way. But apparently he blocks everybody. I've heard that. Like apparently someone was like messaging him saying they loved his performance in the series. And he blocked them. I was like, what? Did he just block everybody? I don't totally understand. But okay. So How to Train Your Dragon premiere April 2nd, 9:30 a.m. to 11. Wait, really?
They're showing the movie. Yeah, 2 months early. Yeah. Which kind of makes sense to me, right? Like, me and you have talked about this a little bit. It seems to be the exact same movie as before.
So there's no spoilers then, basically.
Which tells me they have confidence in it. That tells me they made the perfect movie for what they were trying to do. And that's remake the original. And that's why they have so much confidence in it, because that movie's a masterpiece, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah. Universal and Focus on April 2nd. Amazon MGM on April 2nd, Paramount on April 3rd, and then Disney on April 3rd. So we've got to wait. At least the Disney stuff won't be fake by the time we get to April 3rd. That's the good news. Because if you see anything come out on April 1st from Disney that's supposed to be real from Cinemacon, you'll know it's not real.
Right.
All right. So we're coming up at the end of the stream, but let's see where we're at. Oh, it looks like we got some super chats here.
I shared an image I wanted you to see.
Oh, okay, well, let me do this quickly. Defunct challenge. Will this get us to the goal? I don't think it did, but thank you for the super chat. And then you said third time the charm. So then you put us over the goal. So we have officially hit the goal. Shout out to everybody that contributed tonight. I do appreciate it. And let me go through and give you guys all these hearts. By the way, Nick, that was Nick's first ever super chat. So thank you, Nick, for being the one to get you over the threshold for super chatting. I do appreciate that. Congrats. Again, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for contributing. Why was I blocked? So here's the deal. I'll pull this up for Lance here in a second. So Vincent, about 2 or 3 years ago, actually it might have been even longer than that, was talking about how video games make kids violent. And so I was like, that's a dumb statement. Like, people that are violent are predispositioned to be violent. So if it could be anything that could trigger them. And I gave him like a link to a study on video games and violence, and he blocked me. That's it. That's the whole story. What's up, Cynic? Good to see you.
He said, don't talk to me like that.
Good to see you. Anyway. All right, so Lance wanted to share this here.
New packet, new advertisement for a Superman backpack.
What is this? Oh, I was gonna say, what is this from?
It's a kid's backpack, and I must say that looks Superman to me.
Looks good.
He has curl. I mean, he's no Tyler Hoechlin because that guy was. Just so chiseled with the salt and pepper in the beard. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm sorry. I just had flashbacks.
I get it. The heat hits you.
Yeah.
I'll never understand people that say that he doesn't look like Superman. I don't understand what that means. So,
well, I mean, it's the same people that say like, oh, he just looks like Henry Cavill, and it's like, yeah, Henry Cavill looks like Superman. So,
did you guys see the space in the collar? Oh my God, the suit is too loose. It's too loose.
So my video about this is coming out tomorrow, but did you guys want to give your opinions on the Spider-Man stuff with Hudson?
Sure, why not?
Let me pull up the quotes here. Hold on. You know what I'm talking about, right, Lance?
Tony Robinson. I would love for them to announce something about Power Rangers at Cinemacon, but I'm not holding my breath.
Oh,
I would too, but didn't they sell the rights back to, or the rights went back to another toy company?
Hasbro still has them, and now they're is it Mattel? It's somebody that they're making, but they're only prioritizing Mighty Morphin again, and I'm like, that is so annoying. And they're making toys for kids. Like, make some for us collectors. You know what I mean? Like, come on, all I got is pop figures.
So this is going to be a shorter segment before we wrap up the stream, but I want to give these guys a chance because I have a whole video coming out on this in the morning. So let me do this. This is from Screen Rant and from our pal Andy, who put this together. So the controversy, actually, I'll scroll down and read the original statement before we do this because it's down here. Actually, we can watch the video. We'll watch the video clip. So this was the original statement from the voice actor for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And they were doing a press. This was like literally like days before. I think it was like maybe 2 days before the show premiered, maybe even sooner than that. I thought it was awesome. I mean, my biggest fear was it was going to be annoying and woke. And it wasn't. And I was like, yes, this is great. It's so well written. And it feels real. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, so I feel like I kind of know what's happening in their lives and in high school, and I feel like it was doing that justice. The issue with this comment, well, there's a couple of issues, but the big one is he was trying to put a negative spin on woke, and then woke we know equals to diversity, acceptance, seeing people on screen, women, gay people, trans people. So we know that's what they mean by the term woke. So when he said his biggest fear, if you say annoying, that's fine. But he said annoying and woke. And it's like, so we all knew what that meant. So it was just, look, he can have that opinion, but saying that as the lead actor of this show right before it came out, when literally most of the people supporting the show were from a diverse audience, was a real fucking strange choice. A really strange choice. So then he was with Straw Hat Goofy. And let me click on this.
Made some comments about your fear of Spider-Man being too woke, right?
Yeah, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, because I gotta let you know, like, as you know, as a black man and someone who's like known you like previous, like, you know, our relationship and everything, you know, it low-key hurt, especially as someone who's online and like every time like I talk about race like very openly and like, things, and you get that all the time. So hearing it come from you, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna have to check in.
So obviously something that I said was cherry-picked and used essentially with like no context, just to kind of stir up some drama. You know, we were talking about that little period of time before the
I gotta pause it there. That's not really the truth. Like,
that is like deflecting 101. That is like apology video where it's like, it's not my fault. It is their fault for taking it out of context.
The context was all there. So I don't think we need any more context. Anyway, go on.
Before the show came out. And I was noticing a lot of comments online that I was getting that was either people being nervous or expressing concern that the show was like using topics of diversity and equality in an inauthentic or disingenuous.
I gotta call bullshit on that too.
Yeah.
Because if he understood the nuance of this particular complaint, then he would also understand that saying woke is a pejorative would come across as negative to the audience that was going to support the show. Because I remember a lot of people on the front lines were people that were saying like, we're going to support this even though they're changing XYZ. And then you come along and you're like, hey, I'm Peter Parker and this show isn't annoying and woke. That was the advertising pitch. And it's like, what?
This reads to me like they didn't want him to say sorry because of PR thing. It was like, oh, if you say sorry, you're taking accountability. But that's what he needed to do. What he needed to do, in my opinion, was like, hey,
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah, just like, hey, I didn't really know what meant. Like, I had it from my perspective of what it meant, and really, I didn't realize that actually hurt people. Like that. That's all it takes.
Well, that's the thing, Jordan, is he understood that woke equals all of these things, and he still used it in a negative way. So it's like, that's the problem isn't that he was concerned that the general public was going to perceive it as a bad show because it was being inauthentic. That's fine. You can address that 100%. Like if I'm making a movie and I'm including gay characters in that movie, you can totally go out and say, hey, I'm showcasing the community in the best way possible, right? Like you can totally do that. But to say that he thought it was going to be annoying and woke means that he is siding with the people who have used that word as a negative. You know what I mean? That's the problem. I don't think, and maybe he didn't mean it that way, but this is not doing him any favors. Let's finish this up.
Tenuous way. Mm-hmm. It made me like defensive. Like I wanted to kind of defend our show a little bit. It was such a poor choice of words. My point was that our show doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to pull any tricks. Jeff did such a brilliant job, in my opinion, of just writing what he knew. Quality and diversity was just already baked into the story he wrote.
This is what you should have led with.
And nothing felt forced.
Right.
I suppose. Yeah. So I was really just trying to compliment the grace in which that all plays out in the show. And ironically, it's what attracted me to the show so much in the first place.
That was not doing him any favors. Again, I talk in great detail. It's a long video. It's like a 10-minute video where I talk about this. But I want to say this. You could have led in with some of that stuff there that just was like, it was great. It was baked in, blah, 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 whatever. When you start adding in, I like to say when you over apologize for something, you tend to say things that you don't need to say, and it becomes kind of awkward.
Right.
And I think that's what it was. Because in my opinion here, it says here, my point was our show doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to pull any tricks. Well, what tricks are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because if you agree that tricks are required to include people that are diverse, then you are siding with the people who complain about wokeness.
Yeah.
Because that's what they would say. So...
Yeah, again, we talked about this months ago, but I think this was a situation where he didn't, very similar to the Anthony Mackie stuff. I don't think he knows the landscape. I think maybe cousins were calling stuff woke or something, where he just kind of overheard and be like, yeah, it's not woke, that's blah blah blah. When in reality, very woke show. That's the best thing. It is
like that's the crazy thing is the show is if you look at the context in which he was using woke. The show was that a lot, but it was very good. So the fact that he said, I thought it was going to be annoying and woke, that doesn't make any sense, man. Literally the show is woke. It's diverse. It's got gender swap, race swap characters. It covers people from different backgrounds. Everything in that show checks off the boxes of what these guys would complain about. However, because he used that phrase, I didn't want it to be annoying and woke, they've stayed away from the show. None of them have complained about it because the lead actor is one of those guys, and that's why they've stayed away from it. It's unfortunate. I don't know. What are your guys' final thoughts on this? Again, you guys can the chat. I'll have a video on this tomorrow. You can watch follow my thoughts. I want to give you guys a chance to talk.
I feel like I mentioned most of it, but just I think I don't know how big of an actor he is. I feel like this is his biggest role he's had. Very similar to our Rachel thing, where I feel like he was talking without having a lot of experience in that field. Mm-hmm. And now it's just kind of cover him.
And it sucks because this is one of my favorite Spider-Man things ever.
Really?
I love this show.
I could see him being one of my favorite Spider-Man in a couple years. He was that good to me.
Hudson, you got to do some work, man. You got to do some work because this is not good. This comes across like try hard, and if you don't want to do something woke, just don't do it. But to come on here and be like, I thought it was going to be annoying and woke, and then it actually is woke, and you're like, oh, but I misspoke, and they didn't have to force it. What does that mean? force it. Like what? Like those things aren't supposed to be in the show. Like it's really weird. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. You guys can watch my video tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Anyway, let's see what the chat picked because we did hit the goal. So let's head over here and see what it is. End poll. And we have winner by a lot. 48% of the chat voted for top 5 favorite superhero movies. So let me put that into the list for the 5-hour stream this coming week. Let's see, remaining bonuses. Oh, the Phase 4 rankings we already did. I forgot to take that off. By the way, I heard some people were not happy with some of our placements when we were making the stream. So I was like, okay. Yeah. Top 5 superhero movies. All right. There we go. Before we jump out of here, I do want to talk about the fact that it does seem like Captain America Brave New World is going to get its budget back now based on numbers. So saying it's a flop doesn't really apply anymore. It didn't overperform, but it performed adequately. Yeah. So it's not really a flop. But
I mean, I can still kind of get there, like give that perspective. If it only just made back its money, that isn't a success either. So I can get the whole flop thing, but I hope they stay in a couple more weeks. Hopefully they can get up to, because what are they up to? 500 now? 500 million?
What for the? Oh no, it's at 400 now. Okay. Yeah, they said it needed 425 to break even. So now with 400, they're saying it's almost guaranteed. It actually increased this week. I think it went up a little bit from last week to this week in ticket sales. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I want it to be good, but you know, at this point, it seems to me like they're just going to reboot Captain America as Steve Rogers, so or bring back Chris Evans, one or the other. Trying to think, is there anything else? Anything else? I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks everybody for super chatting and participating in helping the stream reach the goal. I do appreciate it. I know how tough it is for a lot of folks, but yeah. Yeah, Anonymous, we did. It's like halfway in the stream. I think it's like that around the halfway mark. So let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. No, I think we got them all. So I want to thank Darren for hanging out with me. For Paigey for stopping in for a little while. Lance for coming in. Taj for coming in and talking shit to Lance. Do appreciate that. 3Dub in the chat. 3Dub, are you going to be here for the 5-hour stream? If you don't answer me in the chat, I'm not sending you a link. So you have to answer me. Are you going to be here for the 5-hour stream? Let me know. Anyway, let me close this out. He said, look, he answered. Yes, he will be here. Okay. Cool. All right. Anyway, check out Party Nation. It's every day at 4:00.
Wait, what?
It's like what 5 o'clock on or 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, right? Which is it now? It's daylight savings time, so I don't know.
5 my time, 6 your time.
Okay. So check that out. Darren, you do 1 or 2 podcasts now.
I do too.
You have Pipeline and After the Credits?
Yeah. Okay. Which we both stream the same days, which is I've just noticed recently, both Mondays and Thursdays.
Right.
So
all right. Yeah. Well, you go over watch Darren first, and then you can just travel over here and watch our stream. Yeah. And I was trying to bring the after party back, but Paigey has made it very difficult. So I do want to remind everybody that I did a rant and review for Daredevil, which I'll be doing every week. But you got to run those numbers up, guys. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I don't hit a certain threshold, it's like, can I justify setting aside a half hour to make a video? I'm on 3 different channels regularly. I just don't have a lot of time. So if you want me to continue to do those rant reviews, then go over and run the numbers up on that review. I know the episode wasn't super exciting, but show me some love over there. All right, let me do this. We're going to do this because this is the easiest way to do it. And we're going to drop out like that. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and have a great night. We will see everyone later. Take care.